Welcome to Women in Tech Summit 2026. Thank you for joining me in this session. Here, I'm going to talk about using Claude Code to advocate for yourself. Let's jump in. I'm going to show you live how I use Claude Code to prepare for the conversations most of us keep postponing. Negotiation, promotion, and deciding which opportunities actually deserve our time. This is not a workshop. You are not following along. You are watching me build something real. And by the end, you will have access to the same project so that you can do it yourself.
Here is our agenda for today and what we will be covering. Before we get started, let me show you how to get started with Claude Code. What you will need: a computer. It can be Mac, Windows, or Linux. A Claude account, Pro, Max, Team, or Enterprise plan. And obviously, internet connection. There are two ways to use Claude Code. You can either install it and use it from the terminal, or if you prefer a desktop app and a very nice interactive interface, then you can download the desktop app. In my demos, I will be using Claude Code from the terminal.
You know the work mattered. You fixed the handoff nobody owned. You kept the client calm. You translated the technical problem for the person who had to make the decision. Then someone asks, "Why do you think you are ready for the next level?" And suddenly your answer sounds smaller than the work. I know that moment. I moved to the United States from Bangladesh at 19. I learned quickly that professional rooms actually have two systems. There is a system people explain. Then there is the system underneath it. How directly you are allowed to speak. How much proof is considered enough? When confidence becomes too much. I became good at reading rooms, but reading a room is not the same as advocating for yourself inside it. Most self advocacy advice starts at the end. Be confident, speak up, ask for what you deserve. That advice assumes the hardest part is opening your mouth. Often, the harder problem happens earlier. Your wins are scattered across 6 months. The most valuable part of your role is invisible coordination. Feedback lives in messages you never saved. You know what you did, but how to connect it to business value is the problem. That is not a personality defect. It is a preparation system that does not exist yet. So I built one. I could ask a regular chatbot to write a negotiation script. It would sound polished. That was not what I needed. I needed a place where evidence stays connected to the ask, where standing instructions persist, where I can save the output and come back to it. That is the difference between a chat and a Claude Code project. A chat gives you one answer. A Claude Code project gives you a reusable workspace. Let me show you what that looks like.
Let me first show you the project that is open source and you can build against after downloading. What this project does is gathers your scattered evidence, flag gaps, drafts your ask, anticipates pushback, lets you practice, uses project skill cards, saves everything. This is the same structure you will get when you download the project. 3 input files, an evidence folder, a skills folder, and an outputs folder. The brain of the project is this claude.md file.
For this demo, I have created a fictional analyst. Her situation is one a lot of us have been in. She absorbed a senior analyst responsibilities when that person left. No title change, no compensation adjustment. She has the proof. It is just scattered. So this is Claude Code. I have the self-advocacy project open. Let me show you what is inside. If I just write, show me the structure of this project, what files are here and what is each one for. You can see there are 3 input files: wins, context, and the ask. An evidence folder with project notes, feedback, matrix, scope changes, stakeholder notes, and proof gaps. A skill folder for voice, research, skepticism, and humanizing the final language. And an outputs folder where everything gets saved. That is what makes this different from pasting bullets into a chatbot. The rules persist. Let me show you the evidence. You see, if I use this prompt, read the wins file, metrics file, and scope change log, give me a quick summary of what proof we have. Let's see what Claude Code responds with. Hmm. 6 months of work, reporting automation, client coverage, a dashboard the sales team uses daily, a board presentation she wrote but was not credited on, and a role that changed without the title changing. Now what happens when we run the full negotiation workflow? So we're gonna run the negotiation prep right now. If I use this prompt, I need to prepare a compensation and title negotiation, read all my input files and evidence files, then create a full negotiation prep packet. Save it to outputs/negotiationprep.md. It usually takes 30 to 60 seconds. Claude Code is now reading every file in the project. It is matching each win to a source file, scoring the proof strength, looking for gaps, and drafting both the primary ask and a fallback. This is the part that matters. It is not making the case louder. It is making the case more honest. Now look at this. Each accomplishment is mapped to its source, its business value, and its proof strength. And here is the line that matters most. Missing. Formal confirmation that the expanded responsibility is ongoing. The tool found the gap. She has the proof that she did the work. She does not have written evidence that the work is now permanently hers. That is the kind of thing that kills a negotiation if the manager says that was temporary. And here is the ask it drafted. Direct, specific, 2 sentences, plus a fallback if the primary gets declined. A written review date, documented responsibilities, and a professional development budget. That is not a magic sentence. It is a prepared position. Now you see, the part I think matters most, practice. Women are often told to be more confident in rooms where they have never been given a chance to have a practice round. I'm going to ask Claude Code to role play the manager and push back. I'm going to use this prompt, role play as my manager based on the context file. I want to practice the negotiation conversation, push back realistically on budget, on timing, and whether my expanded work is just part of my current role. Ask one objection at a time and score my response on clarity, proof, tone, and next ask. So you see, Claude Code already delivered the first objection. The budget is already set for this year. So now what should I respond as a fictional analyst? Let's see. I understand budget timing is a constraint. The reason I'm raising this now is specifically because August decisions are coming up. The scope change happened 6 months ago when the senior analyst position was vacated and absorbed analytics ownership for two departments. If we can't adjust compensation this cycle, I would like a written timeline for September review and formal documentation of the senior level responsibilities I'm carrying. Alright, now let's see what Claude Code scored this response. Here it is. It scored clarity, proof, tone, and whether I ended with a clear next step. So the first time you hear the objection should not be the moment the decision is being made. This is a private room to get the answer wrong. Revise it and try again. That changes the nervous system before you walk into the room where your decision is being made. Alright, it's time for the second scenario. Promotion. Promotion conversations often fail long before the meeting. The employee says, I have been doing more. The manager hears, I have been busy. The missing layer is translation. What did the work change? Who can validate it? Which responsibilities are already operating at the next level? So now we will be using the same project but different scenario. Watch how Claude Code reuses the same evidence but changes the analysis. Let's use this prompt. Now I need to prepare a promotion case. Using the same evidence files, build a promotion case packet. Identify which accomplishments show next level patterns. Build a promotion case packet. Identify which accomplishments show next level patterns. Leadership, ownership, cross-functional influence, or process design. Create an evidence table. Flag proof gaps. Identify who can validate each claim. And build a 30-day visibility plan. Save to outputs /promotioncase.md. Done. So you see, this is where Claude Code does something a regular chat cannot do easily. It is looking across multiple files for patterns. The dashboard she built is not just a dashboard, it is process design. The client coverage is not just helping out, it is leadership under ambiguity. The VP board summary is not just writing, it is executive communication at a level above her title. A regular chart sees the bullet you pasted today. A project can reveal the pattern you have been building for 6 months. So here is what it found. 4 accomplishments that are already operating at senior analyst level. 2 that show lead level behavior. It also names validators, not just vibes, people. The sales lead can validate dashboard adoption. The VP of operations can validate executive communication. The marketing director can validate the reporting time savings. And the 30-day plan, specific actions. Share the reporting impact data with the analytics director. Request a formal one-to-one to discuss career progression. Document the scope expansion in writing. This is not be more visible. This is a plan with dates, stakeholders, and deliverables. Now let me practice this one too. Let's roleplay as my manager for the promotion conversation. I want to present my case for senior analyst to my manager. Then push back with, everyone is doing more right now. And what makes this different from just being a strong performer at your current level? Score my responses.
If I just say, I have been doing analyst work for two departments now. The VP used my dashboard. I have been taking over expanded scope after the senior analyst left. I would like to have the promotion conversation now.
So you see, the feedback caught something. My response was clear, but I did not cite a specific validator. I said the VP used my summary, but I did not mention that the sales lead and marketing director have also given documented feedback. That is the difference between I think I'm ready and here are three people who can confirm the scope I am operating at. You do not need to memorize the AI's word. You need to hear your own case more clearly before the real meeting. The third and last use case I'm going to talk about is something I believe is the most important. It's not about asking for more, it is about deciding where not to spend yourself. Three options: a stretch role application, an unpaid panel with no defined audience, and a paid workshop with a community where I have already built some relationships. Many AI tools will encourage all three. Do more, try everything. That is not strategy. Sometimes self advocacy is boundary. Alright, let's dig in. I'm going to use this prompt. Read the opportunities file and any relevant evidence files. Score each option on alignment, proof, relationship access, upside, time cost, and risk of unpaid extraction. Recommend the strongest option and draft boundary language for declining the others. Save to output / opportunity decision.md. So look at the scores. The paid workshop scored highest because she already has the material, the relationships, and a clear path to value. The unpaid panel scored lowest. No defined audience, no compensation, brand topic where her specific expertise gets diluted. And here is the boundary it drafted for declining the panel. I appreciate the invitation. I'm focusing on paid engagements with defined audiences this quarter. If the format evolves to include compensation and a specific topic, I would be happy to revisit. See, this sentence is not aggressive, it is clear. I think many of us are exhausted not because we lack opportunities, but because we have been trained to treat every invitation as evidence that we're finally being seen. Some invitations are just extraction with flattering languages. Advocacy includes knowing the difference. One more thing, all these three outputs are saved right here in the project. See the list of the files in Outputs folder. Negotiationprep.md, promotioncase.md, and opportunitydecision.md. Three conversations prepared, evidence cited, gaps flagged, practice done, all inside one project anyone can reopen next month when the situation changes. Finally, Claude Code can organize the evidence, it can find patterns, it can challenge weak claims, it can rehearse the room. It cannot decide what you value. It cannot know which risk you are willing to take. It cannot determine whether a relationship is safe. It cannot make an organization recognize work it is determined to ignore. That boundary matters. Self advocacy is not self blame. Sometimes the case is strong, but the system will still say no. The purpose of this workflow is not to guarantee the outcome. It is to help you enter the conversation knowing what is true, what you are asking for, what you will accept, and what you will do next. That is agency. So today, think of one conversation you have been postponing. Not the biggest one, the real one. The title review you keep waiting for your manager to bring up. The client scope that keeps expanding without a conversation about compensation. The promotion case that lives in your head but has never been written down. The unpaid opportunity you already know you should decline. Start there. Gather the evidence. Name the ask. Practice the no. I have uploaded the Self-Advocacy OS as a downloadable Claude Code project. You can see it in this link. I will also be putting it in the description. Open it, run it. Start with a real conversation. Do not use AI to make your work seem bigger than what it is. Use it to stop making the work feel smaller than it is. Thank you for watching.